Good morning. I've got a little bright spot. Oh, there we go. I've got a little bright spot. Little sun was hitting me on the monitor. Uh, let's see. Maybe I need to move around here like this. Just getting set up. I have a little natural light coming in through my window. It's kind of hitting me really hard here. Let's see if I can do something to fix that. See how that is. That's a little better, but not much. Let me see if I can turn around this way. Okay. All right. That's a little better. Actually, it's a lot better. So the sun was hitting me pretty hard. We're getting ready to start. I got a few more minutes before our Sunday live. Let me, bring down my notes. I always have notes so that I can kind of stay on focus with you guys. I have a tendency to wander. And let's see, I want to go live, and I'm going to jump into the live video right here. I'm going to pop out. I always say breakout, but I'm going to pop out the chat, put that over here so I can see it. What I might do is put it back over here. I can see it a little bit better over here. I'll just make it a little bigger so that I can see any of you guys that might stop by. Okay, here we go. Yeah, that looks good. I just need to sit up a bit. I'm still complaining about my chair. I need a new chair, and I haven't decided to spend the money on one yet. But I will, I guarantee you. Eventually I will. I'll find one that I like. So, let's get ready. Let's see what time it is. Let me go here and check my time. Oh yeah, 56. So it's almost ready for us to start. And we're going, I need to do my housekeeping. Let's do that first. I have to edit the Sunday live. Questions and answers. Sunday live question and answers. Let's save that. There we go. Thank you for stopping by. I see a few of you have stopped by early. I appreciate it. I'm going to pop out my chat so I can see you. I'm going to try to sit up. Sit up straight. That's what you always used to tell me. Sit up straight. Good morning. Good morning. Johanna, how are you? Thanks for stopping by. Is it Johanna? Thanks for stopping by. I appreciate it. Hello, Snyder. Hello. Yes, I am a coach. I focus on acting, directing, and editing. I've been in this business for over 35 years, almost 40 years. I'm a SAG union actor, character actor. You can look at the description below and you'll find some of the work that I've done if you go to Internet Movie Database and you look for James Adam Tucker. And so I come on here every Sunday, and we'll start now. I come on here every Sunday and I answer your questions based on my area of expertise, acting, directing, and editing. And most of my questions are geared towards new people getting started in the business. I love helping people get started in this business, and I love telling the good side and the bad side, because this business, any creative business, has good sides and bad sides. It's not a field where you're guaranteed success. Like if you go to college and you become, let's say, a doctor, let's say a lawyer, let's say you go to a technical school and you become a plumber or an electrician or HVAC, you're almost guaranteed some type of success because those positions are needed, really needed. Entertainment business, those positions aren't so much really needed. They're needed, but there are a lot of people that are gatekeepers that decide who makes it and who doesn't. So it's a risky field, and I talk about that also. Let's see if I got any questions over here. Hello, thank you, thank you. Who's that? IDONTKNIW. Thanks for subscribing. I appreciate it. Good afternoon, Oceanfront, Virginia Beach. Oh, Virginia Beach. Yes. Hello, hello. I'm familiar with Virginia Beach. Tommy Johnson. I have a lot of relatives. I'm originally from New Jersey, and I have a lot of relatives who have moved down to Virginia, Richmond, Virginia. So I'm very familiar with Richmond. Actually, written a couple of scripts that take place in Richmond. My brother owns a diner, a deli down there in Richmond, and we have written some scripts that take place in Richmond down in Virginia. I'm very familiar with Virginia. I really like it there. I go there often. So yeah, I'm very familiar with Virginia. So yes, again, what was I saying? Oh, I was talking about this business. I'll just talk a little bit about that until we get some questions in. So it's not an easy business. I know you see all the stars and the A-listers and the actors and actresses that you like and what they do on screen, if they're good. It seems simple, doesn't it? But it's not. Even harder than the part of acting is getting there. I continue to act. As a matter of fact, I just had 2 auditions last week for network shows out here in California. One, I found out Friday that the producers called back to my agent and they wanted more information from me. They wanted my reel. They wanted to see my reel. So whenever they call back, that means they like you. It doesn't mean you're going to get the job. No, no, no. Doesn't mean you're going to get the job. It means they like you. And what happened was, I'll tell you this little funny story so that you don't make the same mistake. I got a call for a television series, a long-running television series. It's probably been on the air, and I'll just say it's a hospital show, and it's been on the air for over 25 years. And I got a call, a day player part. That's why I'm a character actor. I do 1 day, 2 day, 3 day parts on television shows and movies. So I'm a small character actor, and I got called in to read for a part of a father who is in the hospital and he's sick, and he's talking to his family, and pretty good role. And so they sent me the audition sides. Now the sides are part of the script that they want to see you read so they can tell whether you are who they want for the role. If you look believable, if you fit the character, if you fit the age, you fit the race, you fit the type. And so they read my stuff, they liked it. But I had made a mistake. Been doing this for 35 years. And what I did wrong was when I downloaded the sides, I still can't figure out how I did it, but I didn't look at all the sides. I looked at the first page, and the scene ended on the first page with my dialogue. It ended like it was the end of the scene. So I thought it was just a 1-page scene. So I got my reader together. I put the self-tape together. I rehearsed it, and I shot it, and I submitted it. And then I heard back Friday. It was Thursday. Yeah, it was Friday. I heard back from my agent that the casting directors liked me, but they wanted to see the rest of the scene. I only turned in the first page. There were 2 more pages, and I didn't know it. Now, the problem there, and it's something that I shouldn't have done, I should have made sure there were no more pages after that first page. I just assumed, I was reading it, and the scene seemed like it came to a conclusion. And I think actually it almost did, but there were more pages behind there, so I didn't see it. And I submitted it, and they liked me enough to call me back. And at first, the first call to my agent was, can you ask James Adam Tucker to send in the rest of the audition? He only sent in the first page. There were 3 pages. And so I was out somewhere, and I wasn't home to do it, but I was going to try to figure out how to do it in the car and with my cell phone, which is possible nowadays. And about 5 minutes later, my agent texted me again. He emailed me again and said, don't worry about the scene. They want to see your most current demo reel. So luckily, I was able to find my most current demo reel. It was on Vimeo, that video sharing service, and they needed a downloadable file that they could download and pass it on to the other casting directors and the other producers so they could see if they liked me or not. So I was able to send them that. I didn't have to rush and try to do a rush job with the audition, which is never good. But the mistake was mine. I didn't make sure that I looked closely through all the material that they had sent me. And I should know better. I should know better. I think I was rushing or I was excited. I think maybe it was a combination of both. I was excited because it was such a big show, and this year's been really slow as far as the acting business goes out here in California. So I was excited to get called in for a big show, and when I read the scene, the role was exactly fit for me. It was my age, my race, my type of guy. The dialogue wasn't anything far out that I don't like to play, roles where, roles that are unethical or stuff like that, or, against my moral code. It's funny to hear an actor say that, I guess, because there are certain roles that I won't play, certain types of criminals I won't play. And I'll play a normal bank robber and blah, 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 that kind of criminal. But there's certain kind of criminals and stuff that I won't play. But anyway, not to get on to that. So everything was perfect. And maybe that was my problem. I didn't take the time to look through all the material they had sent me about the character. But on the plus side, they must have really liked me, because there is no way, as busy as they are and how many people submit for these roles, if they didn't like me, they wouldn't have wasted time calling me back, calling my agent and saying, he didn't send the rest, he didn't send all the material in. Normally what happens is, if you make a mistake like that, you're deleted. That's the cold, hard fact, truth of this business. That mistake that I made, and it's justifiable, that mistake that I made is justifiable to have me just deleted and they move on to the next person. So you can't make mistakes like that. And I should know better, but everybody makes mistakes, even me. I know it's hard to believe, but everybody makes mistakes, even me. So I'm still, even if I don't get the role, I'm still happy that they liked me enough to go that extra mile to try to track down the rest of the audition, to contact my manager, not my manager, I'm sorry, to contact my agent and say, where is the rest of the material? Jamesadamtucker, he submitted, we like his stuff, but he didn't send in the whole scene. He didn't send in the complete scene. There were 2 more pages. So that's a mistake I won't make again. I don't think I've ever, well, maybe I did. I can't say never. I've probably done that before in the past. Like I said, I've been doing this for 35, almost 40 years. I've been an actor. And self-tapes are relatively new. Self-tapes are relatively new as far as I'm concerned. Here in Los Angeles, we never really had self-tapes that much. But when the pandemic hit, everybody went to self-tape. So self-tape, at first I was resistant. Let's talk a little bit about self-tape. Self-taping. What self-taping is, for those of you who don't know, you will get a email or a text from your representative if you have an agent or a manager, and they will say, go on the breakdowns, there's an audition for you, all the material's there, and confirm that you want to do the audition. So look it over and then confirm. So you look over the material, you see if it's a role that you want to do, and you hit confirm, then you send an email to your representatives, your agent, your manager, and you tell them, yes, I want to do the role, I'm going to work on a self-tape. Now, the self-tape can be very simple. It can be you shooting it yourself right at home in front of a plain background like you see behind me right there behind me, and some nice lights if you need it, because you need your face lit evenly. You need to be heard evenly. So if I'm as close as I am right now, I wouldn't be shooting my self-tape horizontally. Self-tapes are turned in, vertical. I'm vertical right now. I would not shoot my self-tape vertical. You never get a request. I can't say never, but I'll say never. You never get a request for a vertical self-tape. They always want to see it horizontal, because they want to see the size of your body and they want to see more of you. And also, they're going to be playing it back on a traditional computer screen, or the producer or director may be playing it back on a television monitor. So they want it to fit the television monitor. So it's going to be landscape, 16 by 9, traditional TV size, horizontal. So never vertical like you see me right now. They don't want that. So once you have it ready, then you may want to do a little bit of editing. If you want to clean up the beginning and the end. Sometimes they want a separate slate. Now what a slate is A slate is where you say your name, your height, uh, where you're from, are you in the union? They'll give you the questions to answer in the slate. So normally a slate is, hi, I'm James Adam Tucker. I'm 6 feet tall. I live right here in California. And yes, I am a SAG actor. And then usually I say, thanks for calling me in. That's just a little thing I throw in. But that's a slate. And sometimes they want the slate separate. They want the slate separate from the audition. And the reason they want the slate separate from the audition, sometimes the producers or the director just want to see the audition. They don't want to go through the slate. They just want to see everybody's audition. So they don't want to take the time. They're looking at maybe for the role I just went for and I got that call back, they called back to ask me to send in some more material. They probably, and this is a conservative estimate, I'd say they probably saw 500 to 800 actors. Now, can you believe that? One role, one small role, they probably saw between 500 and 800 actors. And I'm probably underestimating it. I'm probably underestimating it. Now, when you're talking about big roles, lead roles, or major characters or series regular, it depends on the project, but they see hundreds or thousands of actors, if you can believe that, for one role. So once you get the call, you're lucky. You're lucky that you got that call. So that's the mindset that as I grew older, I finally started realizing that's the first big hurdle to get over, to get that first initial call. So again, like I said, even though I messed up, I screwed up by not slowing down, taking the time, looking through all the material that was sent to me. I skipped the second 2 pages of the audition. Now, that was a bad mistake. And I haven't made that mistake in years, if I have ever made that mistake. I probably did. I've made so many mistakes in this business. And that's what I like about being here on YouTube, talking about acting, directing, and editing, because I can share those mistakes with you guys. And hopefully you'll learn from my mistakes. You'll hear somebody say it out loud, and you won't make that mistake. And that's going to put you closer to your goal of becoming a working actor or actress. Again, I love to come on here and talk about all the good stuff, talk about all the positive things that happen in this business, but a lot of it is not positive. A lot of it is not, most of it is not positive. Even when actors make it to the tippy top. I was watching a documentary on Netflix last night about John Candy, and it was called, I think it was called Candy, I Like Me. It was a good documentary. A lot of people, recognizable names and faces and actors and producers and that knew him, participated in the documentary, and they told his life story from the beginning all the way to the end. So it was really interesting. At first I was reluctant to watch it because, honestly, tell you the truth, I never was a big fan of John Candy, his movies. But the documentary was really well done, put together, and you had an insight on the guy's life. Top of the career, top of the game, and still plagued by personal problems, drinking, smoking, overeating, just human. But he was a good guy. Everybody kept saying that. That's one thing that everyone said. He was a good guy. You'd never meet a nicer guy. You'd never meet a nice. And even some of the interviews where the interviewer gave him a hard time about his weight and tried to, a lot of them, and it was amazing how people would try to degrade him right to his face. And he wouldn't fight back. He wouldn't say anything. He still was nice. He didn't get nasty. Boy, I would have been blasting them. But guess what? That's why I'm not him. I would have been blasting him for some of the derogatory things they said and insinuations and making fun of his weight. He knew that part of his appeal was his weight that made him different. A lot of overweight actors who make it to the top, they know that's part of the reason. The humor that being overweight, where people of average size like to laugh at the fat man or the fat woman. So that was part of it. And they all know that. And there's, in the business of acting, you bring to it and use what you were given. You use what you were given. You bring your skills and use what you were given. That's the same thing I'm doing right here on YouTube. Like I said, I talk about acting, directing, and editing. I've been doing this for 35 years. So once I decided last year that I was going to go all in here on YouTube and become monetized and continue to create content that I wanted to create without any gatekeepers, that's the beauty of it. One thing at a time. You have to accept what you are and accept yourself to entertain others. And that's what John Candy did. But people would always point out, oh boy, and especially this one woman, she was getting on my nerve, and this was years, before he died. Don't you think if you did lose a little weight, you could play the leading role? You could play the leading character? And he told her, I like myself. I like the way I am. This was no fat acceptance campaign. The guy liked who he was. He was confident. He was talented. He was funny. But he did have a lot of darkness inside as we watched the pain from his past, from his childhood. So I'm not going to go any more deep into that, analyzing John Candy. But it was an interesting documentary. If you want to take a look at it, you'll find it on Netflix. It came out about a little over a week ago. And again, honestly, I wasn't going to watch it. But then I talked to my wife. She wanted to watch it. So we watched it together. And it was really entertaining. Well done, well put together. Most of it was all old footage. And some was the interviewing of the stars was relatively new, the recognizable actors who knew him and worked with him. But a lot of it was archival footage from his life. So it was really interesting. Let's see what we got here. Okay, I'm looking to see if I have any questions. Sorry, no, I didn't. But again, I like being here, talking to you guys. Again, this morning, I was getting ready. I was doing a little housekeeping here on YouTube, and had to shave a little bit, get cleaned up. I don't like coming on here all shabby. Had to get cleaned up a little bit so I could sit down and talk to you guys on Sunday Morning Live, which I'm doing right now. And I came up with my topic. My topic is using your own life, pulling from personal experiences to add to an honest performance. It's an acting tip. I told you I talk about acting, directing, and editing. So this is an acting tip. Using your own life, pull from your personal experiences to make your performance honest. That's what I do all the time. That's my secret. When I get a character, I look at it and I think about it. How close is this character to me? Has anything like this ever happened to me? Anything even remotely like it? Because most of the time in this business, when you're like me, you're a character actor, the roles you get offered are fit towards what you look like. When they look at my picture, what they see is like a lawyer, a police officer, a doctor, somebody professional, a teacher, somebody in authority. Those are the roles I get called out for. And when I read the scripts, most of the time the dialogue is something that's real close to who I really am. So I use my own personal experiences to bring those characters to life. That's the secret. You have to have that ability as an actor to blend your real self in with the character. And that allows you to bring the characters to life. You don't try to make up, everything. And I'm talking auditions here. I'm not talking about a deep television series where you're lucky enough to get cast in a role that's completely nothing like you. And that happens too. But I'm talking about the audition. The bottom line is to blend your real self in with the character, to make it come to life, to make it honest, to make your performance honest, to make your performance realistic. That's what you do. That's the secret. That's why a lot of people say, when they look at good actors, they say, oh, he plays the same character all the time. Of course he plays the same character all the time, because he's taking that character from himself. Let's talk about Jason Statham. I like him. And I like what he said as a real person, because he didn't start out as trying to be an actor. He was some kind of sports guy and in England. And as he got into acting, he realized that people liked who he really was. So that's why most of the time when he's in a movie, he's playing that same character. He may be a cop. He may be a fireman. He may be a construction worker. He may be a soldier. He may be an assassin. But if you look closely, it's all him. And that's why he is believable. He's solid. He's bankable. And that's why he works all the time. He's not like an actor who gets full of themselves and think, I can play any role. I can play any character because the truth of it is they can't, no matter how good they are. Even when you look at some actors that you like and you see them in say for instance, they're mostly a dramatic actor and they're really consistent. They play those roles are good, that's what they do well. And then all of a sudden they get cast in a comedy and they're not funny. It's not because they're not talented, it's because that's not them. They're what made them successful, what made them entertaining, what made them watchable was the version of themselves that was coming through the character. They have the magnetism. They have the, as they say in the business, it. And it really is something, it. I've met a number of actors and actresses over the years. And as soon as I meet them and I start talking to them, I know they have it. Now, I can't tell you what it is. It's some kind of, if you ever met anybody in the entertainment, singing, music, whatever, any kind of line, sports, any kind of entertainment related business, and they are a star, it comes from them. It comes from them. It's some kind of magnetism. It's some kind of human connection that comes out of people that have that magnetism that makes you want to listen to them, makes you want to talk to them, makes you want to be around them. And that's what some actors have. Those are the ones that make it to the top. And like I said, I've met some. And I make it a point to tell new actors, once I get to know them, once I work with them, I tell them whether they should keep going because I know they have it. I tell them, and I've said it a number of times, maybe not even 8 times, but I've said it. Don't give up, because if you keep going, you will make it. Now, I'm not saying that to everybody, because when I started this business, I thought I was going to be a A-lister. Never got there. I'm a character actor. I've been a character actor for over 35 years. I enjoy it. Yeah, sure. I wish I had made it to where I wanted to be, that lofty goal of the constant working actor. Didn't get there. But when I meet actors and actresses who I can feel it coming out of them. Whatever it is, it's a magnetic human. It's some kind of something you radiate that makes you compelled to look at them, makes you compelled to talk to them. But it's there and it's real. I tell them, keep going. You have it. A lot of them laugh and they blah, 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 they laugh it off. But I can tell. I've been a director. I've been a producer. Again, I've been an actor. I've cast many, 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 many projects, feature films, short films. And I can pick the ones. It's just a feeling. And you can tell. So, but anyway, off of that, let's see. So back to pulling from your personal experiences. So sometimes what I do, like for instance, let's go back to this role I just read for that I told you I made a mistake and I didn't read all the scenes. It's funny when I look at it, laugh at it. I mean, years ago when I was young, I would have been ripping if I had hair. When I did have hair, I'd be pulling it out because I made that mistake. But now, I just roll with it. I look at the positive side, because even though I made that mistake, even though I should have been just deleted. Honestly, I would have just deleted if they didn't submit all the material. They didn't finish the audition. Boom, you're in the trash. Let's go to the next person. But they liked me enough. And that is a plus with my representatives, with my agent, my manager, for them to see, oh, people like them. There's something there. Let's keep pushing them. There's something there. And that's what keeps me in this business. I know that I can be a lead character. I've done it. I've been a lead in independent films. I know that I can be a lead in a major motion picture. I know it. It's not like a question. I know it. And that's what I need my representatives to know. And they know it. I just need the right project. And again, I may sound like what I would say, you sound like a drug addict. That's what acting is like. Soon as you think you maybe want to do something else. And over the years, many times I've decided, you know what? Okay, I've had enough of this. I'm going to get a normal job. And the normal jobs don't work out for me because I know what I want to do. And as I aged, I finally came to the realization that, if I don't make it, so what? So what? What would being a successful actor really do in the grand scheme of things? Nothing. Nothing. What's it going to matter? What's it really going to matter? Nothing. Nothing. So keep going for it. You have a limited amount of time on this earth. And when you're young, and when I was young, I didn't even think in relationship to time. How much time do I have? When I was in my 20s, I never even considered that I would get as old as I am now. You don't think about that when you're young, but you need to decide, even while you're young, if this is your path, if this is your career path, go all in. And when I say go all in, go for it. Don't give up. Don't get diverted by other things. It may be difficult, but if you look deeply and closely at the people who, for instance, that John Candy documentary, once he decided that he really wanted to be a comedian and an actor, he went all in. He went for it. He didn't have a part-time job and blah, 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 blah. And it's a risk. Oh, I'm not telling you it's a risk. It's not a risk. Because I have a lot of friends who started in this business with me who didn't succeed, who didn't get as much opportunity as I got, didn't get book as much work over the years as I did. And a lot of them went all in. And what a lot of them didn't have that I had a second career. When I went to college, I studied radio and television and film production. So I had those skills. I had another career. And over the years as an actor, when I wasn't working, I had a business, a video production business, and I still have it. I have a video production business where I create videos, training videos, informational videos, small commercials for nonprofit organizations, for local government, for the federal government. I've created some content. So I had a career, I had talent, I had skills that I could work and make money at. And that's what I did when I didn't act. And once I started getting older and I realized that I didn't become the A-list actor that I thought I was going to become, I still had my skills and I could still run my own business. And I still run that business to this day. A lot of that business on web television, you can look that up, on web television, has morphed into a lot of computer-generated content for the internet, much less video production. But I also manage websites for independent people, and I also manage websites for a city. I'm the program manager for the city, and I create for a city in Georgia, and I create all their content for their website. I keep their website going. I make all the updates. I create the videos. I do all of that. I'm the project manager. And that all came out of my video production business. So I have clients. I have clients I edit with. I edit for a lot of clients around the country. So the beauty for me and the blessing was that I had another career that I did as I worked towards my goal to become a working actor. And again, I'm a character actor. I do small parts. Been doing it for over 35 years, and I continue to do it. And I love it. But I also have a business that I run, and I love that too. So a lot of people that I grew up, as far as in this business goes, with, didn't have the advantage that I have to have a solid career that would help them live a somewhat normal life as they pursue their career as an actor. So what I'm saying is, if you're on this path, a young actor or actress, have something else, but don't have it. And sometimes I walk that line. I think, okay, did having this career as a video producer and a filmmaker, did that allow me not to focus enough on pursuing my acting career with more gusto? And I think it did. I have to be honest. There's a fine line you walk between trying to work towards two careers. And some people say when you're trying to do two things at once, you're not going to do either one the best. And the truth of it is, I probably didn't do either one the best if I had made a clear decision. Okay, I'm going to be a director. Forget the acting, forget everything else. I'm going to direct feature films. I directed small feature films, what I call B movies, during the 90s and the early 2000s. And I did that on purpose because I wanted to continue to pursue my acting career. And so I was in between. So the reason I'm bringing this up is because you, as a young actor or actress, you need to make that choice. I always say you have more opportunities now with the internet because you can run a business. You can legitimately run a business. Even here on YouTube, you can run a business. I'm trying to become monetized right now and create content here. Make money, a little bit of money off of YouTube, get some sponsorship, get some, ads, affiliates, however, become a coach here on YouTube and help other people join up. And so you have opportunities. You have opportunities. But basically what I'm saying is if you're interested in being an actor or actress, make sure the other opportunities that you pursue to make a living and pay your bills and keep yourself clean and have a car and all the things you need to pursue an acting career, that you don't let that take over. And it's hard. It's not easy to do two things like that at once. So I would suggest that whatever your independent business is, keep it small. Keep it just enough so you have that flexibility if you get a role that you can go to it. If you get cast in something, if it's a one-day part, if it's four-week part, that you can take the time off of that business that you run, that you're in charge of, and you can still go back to it. So that's a beautiful sweet spot to be, where the business that keeps you alive while you're pursuing your entertainment-related career doesn't overtake your entertainment career, because that can easily happen. That can easily happen. Don't get into a whole bunch of debt. I bought a house. I'm happy that I bought this house when I was young because now I'm reaping the benefits. I'm old and I don't have to work so hard because I have a house to live in and it's almost paid off. So none of this is easy. None of this is easy. If you're working towards an acting career, you need something to do that can sustain you. It's called a survival job. That can sustain you as you continue to go on auditions, as you continue to study, as you continue to improve your acting talent. And that's another thing. Continue to study. No matter how good you think you are, you need to practice. And you need to practice. You don't have to practice every day, but you can practice on your own. You don't have to go to classes every day, but you can go to classes maybe once a week, once every other week. But you need to practice on your own, even with monologues, even with its friends here across the internet. Get a couple of friends together and you guys jump on Zoom and you run lines. You audition between each other. Keep yourself fresh as far as the acting goes. But don't let your survival job or your day job take over your life and stop you from improving yourself in the acting world. That's what I did. Sometimes my filmmaking and my video production would completely take me over for months at a time, and I would ignore my acting. I wouldn't try to find out how to get on auditions. I wouldn't pursue new agents or new managers. I wouldn't search out jobs and try to submit myself. I neglected my acting when I was young because I had a totally second career that I could go to when the acting was slow. So that's the mistake I made. Don't you make that mistake. Know what to prioritize. Now, if you're going to put acting on the back burner, then don't. I would say don't. If you can clearly say, "Oh, acting is my side hobby," then keep it as a hobby. Don't even think of it as it's going to be something that you could potentially become a working actor. But if acting is your first love, if you want to be an actor or an actress, then you need to make that first, and your survival job is second in importance. And I would say if you can start some kind of business that can be your survival job instead of being a waitress or a waiter, or instead of driving Uber, do that. Try to find some small business that you can start, even if it's an internet-based business, a legitimate internet-based business, a service business you can provide, but don't let it completely take over your life. Remember, your goal. You want to be a working actor or you want to be a working actress, you need to spend the time. You need to put in the effort. Every day you need to do something to propel yourself in the direction you want to go in. So those are just some words of wisdom from an old man who has been through it and is open enough to talk about it. That's the reason I named this show Unedited. And the log line is, I say the quiet part out loud. And I do. I say the quiet part out loud. And what I mean by that, I say the things that people sometimes don't want to hear. I say the things that make people feel uneasy. I say the things that step on toes. Not because I'm trying to be provocative or anything like that. I want to be truthful. I want to let you know what it is, what the truth is. I like to put the truth out there. I like to put the truth out there. I'll talk about the good stuff. I'll talk about the fun times. I'll talk about the joy it brings when you get an audition and the role fits you. And then you get a call back and they like you and they hire you and you're on the set and you're in the wardrobe, you have a trailer and you're working with the other actors that know what you've been through, that know the turmoil that you have been through to get to where you are. Even if it's just a day player part, there's joy. There's joy. But I also know the dark side. And it can get real dark if you let it. But you don't have to. You don't have to. And it's a fine line. It's not easy. It's not easy. You need to realize that there's more to life than just being successful in your career. And that took me a long time to accept. A lot of years spent going through turmoil, worry, depression, dealing with the choices that I made to pursue this career and not reaching the lofty goal that I had set for myself. Is there life? Sometimes I would ask myself, is there life? Is there a reason to continue after you didn't reach your goal? Yes, there is. And it took me a long time to be able to say that. And I'm glad I'm able to say that to you right now. Yes, there is life if you want to live it. There are dreams if you want to dream them. There are goals to reach for if you want to reach for them. So there's good and bad when you make that decision, oh, I want to be in the entertainment business. And I'm not just talking about acting, directing, and editing. I'm talking about any entertainment-related business because there are gatekeepers. The beautiful thing, though, YouTube has opened the doors for many an actor, director, singer, writer, dancer. And this is a beautiful platform. I love it. I would never want to see it go away. It has its downsides, just like everything on the internet. But this has opened the doors. YouTube has opened the doors for many a person who would not have made it if it wasn't for YouTube. The gatekeepers would not have let them through the door. Many of them who are very successful, who got exposure on YouTube, and that exposure went to the mainstream media. So again, use YouTube, set up your channel, put yourself out there, work towards your goal, find a way to be creative, and live the life that you dream of. So this is a beautiful spot where, you know, even YouTube has its restrictions. You can't get on here and do anything you want, but you can almost do anything you want. And that's the beauty of it. That's why I love it. That's why I'm here. That's why I'm creating this content. If you go to my channel, you'll see a series a vertical streaming series called Tammy, the writer, Tammy, the actress and writer. Tammy, the actress and writer. You'll see that on my channel. I created that series, and I'm created right here on YouTube. And I'm creating other series. I want to make comedy, vertical streaming, and horizontal stuff. I have a lot of content on my channel. You'll see a lot of educational stuff that's for acting, directing, and editing, just like what I've been talking about today. I love sharing this content. I'm here every Sunday to answer your questions. If you have any questions, please feel free to stop by. And I'll be here noon, Sundays, Pacific time, LA time, California time. Do a little Google search and find out what time noon is here in California. And that's when you jump on. And I should be here live. I haven't missed a Sunday yet. I'm going to continue to do it. I'll probably take off. But the beauty of it, though, is that if I have my cell phone wherever I am, I can still do my Sunday live. That's why I like YouTube. That's just one of the reasons why I like YouTube. So I'm going to wrap up now. Nice talking to you. I'll see you again next Sunday. Have a good week.